It was just another busy night at the downtown luxury restaurant. Waiters rushed from table to table, the kitchen buzzed with noise, and soft jazz floated through the air. Among them was Anna, a quiet, hard-working waitress who blended into the background. Dressed in a slightly worn uniform and keeping her head down, she moved quickly between tables, careful not to draw attention to herself. She was used to being invisible. No one ever really noticed her until that night. At table 12 sat the man everyone knew but few had met, Nicholas Blake, the billionaire owner of the restaurant chain. Sharp suit, expensive watch, and a look of someone used to power. He was in for a routine inspection and a quiet dinner, but fate had something else in store. When he left the restaurant, something strange happened. His wallet, containing not just his credit cards, but something deeply personal, vanished. Security was immediately alerted. Cameras were checked, and to everyone's shock, the footage showed Anna slipping the wallet into her apron pocket. The staff was stunned. Why would she risk everything for a wallet? She had never caused any trouble before. Nicholas, furious and confused, ordered her to be brought to his office the next morning. But what he didn't expect was the explanation that would follow. When Anna walked into that office, she didn't cry or beg. She simply placed the wallet on the desk and whispered, "I wasn't going to keep it." Nicholas demanded to know why she had taken it in the first place. Her voice trembled as she started to explain, but before she could finish, he opened the wallet. What he found inside wasn't just money or cards, it was a photograph, and that photo changed everything. The room went silent. Nicholas stared at it, his hands suddenly unsteady, his expression shifting from anger to something much deeper. Anna's reason for taking the wallet wasn't greed. It was something far more human, something that struck a chord deep within his heart. For the first time in a long while, he saw past her uniform, past her silence, and what he saw left him speechless. But what was it about that photo that made the billionaire's eyes well up? What connection could a struggling waitress possibly have to the powerful man who owned the building she cleaned every night? Stay with us, because what happens next will reveal a truth that not only changes how Nicholas sees Anna, but how he sees himself. Nicholas couldn't stop staring at the photo. It was a worn-out picture, edges curled, colors fading. A little girl, smiling wide, stood between two people, her parents maybe. But it wasn't the girl that caught his breath. It was the woman standing beside her. Nicholas's eyes clouded over, his mind pulling him back to a memory he hadn't touched in years. He knew that face. He had loved that face. Hannah stood silently across from him, watching him wrestle with emotions she didn't fully understand. She hadn't meant for things to go this far. Her hands trembled, but she kept them folded in front of her. She knew what it looked like, stealing from her own boss. The truth was messy, complicated, and explaining it meant opening a door she had spent years trying to keep shut. Nicholas finally looked up. "Where did you get this photo?" he asked, his voice lower now, no longer sharp with anger. Anna hesitated. "It belonged to my mother," she said quietly. "She passed away a few years ago. I carry it with me everywhere. I didn't mean to take your wallet. I just saw that photo, and I panicked." He blinked. "Your mother?" he asked slowly, almost not believing it. What was her name? Anna's lips trembled before she spoke. Lena Carson. The name hit him like a wave. He hadn't heard it in over 2 decades, but it still felt fresh. Lena had been someone special, someone he had known before life got complicated with business deals, success, and long hours spent chasing an empire. They had gone their separate ways, but not because they wanted to. Now, staring at the daughter of the woman he once cared for deeply, he felt the weight of everything he had left behind. But questions swirled in his head. If Anna was Lena's daughter, why hadn't he ever known? And why would Anna carry a photo of her mother in his asterisk wallet? Unless it wasn't just coincidence. Unless Anna had a reason for needing to speak to him, one she hadn't revealed yet. Anna looked down, unsure of what to say next. Her heart pounded in her chest. She had never planned to come face to face with Nicholas Blake. She only wanted to find answers about her past, about her mother, and the secrets she believed had been buried for good. But now that she was here, nothing was going the way she expected. Nicholas leaned back in his chair, the photo still in his hand, his thoughts spinning. "Why now?" he asked softly. "Why come to me now?" Anna didn't answer right away. Because the truth was, she didn't just come for answers. She came with something much heavier, something that could change both of their lives forever. Anna took a deep breath, eyes fixed on the floor. "I didn't plan any of this," she whispered. "I only applied for the job because I knew you owned the place. I thought maybe I could learn more about you before deciding if I should say something." Nicholas was still holding the photo, fingers brushing over the faded image of Lena. His chest felt tight. "Why would you need to learn more about me?" he asked, though a part of him feared the answer. Anna finally met his eyes, and the weight behind her gaze told him this wasn't just about a forgotten love or an old photograph. It was deeper. "She never talked about you," Anna said, "not until the very end. When she got sick, she started writing letters. Most of them I never read. I found one after she passed. It was addressed to you. She said you had a right to know. That's when I started looking for you." Nicholas felt the air shift in the room. His voice came out rough. "A right to know what?" Anna hesitated, chewing at the inside of her cheek. "I'm not sure yet," she said honestly. But she wrote about a past she kept hidden, about choices she regretted, and she left hints, things that didn't add up. "I thought maybe you could help fill in the blanks." Nicholas stood up, pacing now. Every step felt heavy. "If there's something I should have known, something she tried to tell me, why didn't she send the letter?" Anna shook her head. She was scared, I think. Or maybe she thought it was too late. Outside the office window, the city glowed in the night. Inside, the silence between them was thick with unspoken things. But there was more to this than just family secrets. Anna hadn't told him everything. Not yet. What Nicholas didn't know was that Anna wasn't just working here for answers. She was trying to survive. She was behind on rent, her younger brother was still in school, and her second job cleaning offices barely kept the lights on. The photo in the wallet, her mother's photo, was her way of holding on. But finding that same photo in the billionaire's wallet, that changed everything. There was also something else. A sealed envelope tucked deep in her bag. One she hadn't opened yet. It had Nicholas's name on it, written in her mother's handwriting. But Anna was afraid. What if it confirmed the truth she was starting to suspect? What if everything she thought she knew about her mother and Nicholas was just a part of a story that had never been fully told? She wasn't ready to find out. Not yet. Nicholas stood frozen, staring out the window, his reflection barely visible against the lights of the city. His mind was racing. The past, which he had buried under years of business meetings and success, was suddenly breathing down his neck. He hadn't heard Lena's name in so long, but now her daughter, her asterisk daughter asterisk, was standing right in front of him, carrying pieces of a puzzle he didn't even know existed. And still, too many pieces were missing. Anna could feel the tension building in the room, in her chest, in the silence between them. She wanted to scream, to tell him everything at once. But even she didn't have all the answers. That envelope still sat unopened in her bag. She kept it close for months, afraid of what it might say. afraid it might change her life in a way she couldn't undo. But now that she was here, face to face with Nicholas, she wondered if it was finally time to know the truth, or if it was already too late. "I think you knew her better than I did," Anna said softly, her voice cracking just a little. She never really talked about her past, just worked long hours, came home tired, and smiled like everything was okay. Her hands were clenched now, her throat tight. But something was missing. I could feel it even as a kid. Nicholas turned around slowly, eyes searching hers. "I cared about her. A lot," he said. But one day she just disappeared. No note, no goodbye. I looked for her for a while, but eventually I thought maybe she'd just moved on. Found someone else. Anna bit her lip. She never did. It was just me and her. No one else. His breath caught. A part of him wanted to ask what that meant, but something told him the answer might already be staring him in the face. He sat back down, running a hand through his hair, heart pounding in his chest. Anna reached into her bag, fingers brushing the edge of the envelope. She pulled it out slowly, laying it on the desk between them. The paper was old, slightly creased, with his name written in Lena's unmistakable handwriting. Nicholas stared at it, unsure whether he wanted to open it or run from it. But before he could touch it, there was a knock at the door. It was the restaurant manager, looking pale. "Sir, we have a situation downstairs." Nicholas blinked. What kind of situation? The manager hesitated. "There's a man asking for Anna. Says it's urgent. He's not alone." Anna's stomach dropped. She hadn't expected this. Not tonight. Nicholas looked at her. "Who is he?" Her lips parted, but no words came out. Because the truth was, she didn't know if she was ready for what was coming next. Anna's heart raced as she stood frozen. The words "he's not alone" echoed in her ears. She didn't know who was downstairs, but something in her gut told her this was bad. Nicholas caught the fear in her eyes and stood up quickly, his tone shifting. "Anna, who is it? Do you know him?" She shook her head slowly. I have no idea who would be looking for me. I haven't told anyone I'm here." But even as she said it, her thoughts were spinning. Could it be someone from her mother's past? Or worse, someone connected to that envelope she had just placed on the desk? Nicholas gave the manager a look. "Keep them downstairs. Do not let them near the staff area. We'll be down in a minute." The door closed again, and Nicholas turned back to Anna. "Tell me everything you haven't told me yet." Anna gripped the back of the chair to steady herself. "A few weeks ago, I started getting calls from a blocked number. No one ever said anything, but I could tell someone was listening. Then a letter came to my apartment. No return address. Just one sentence inside. 'You're getting too close.'" Nicholas's face tightened. "Why didn't you say anything?" "I didn't know who to trust," she said. "And I didn't even know if it was related to you or my mom or just something random. But now, with someone downstairs." The door suddenly burst open again, and the manager stepped in, visibly shaken. "Sir, I'm sorry, but they forced their way in. Security's holding them by the lobby, but they're demanding to see Anna. One of them has her last name." Anna's breath caught. "What? What's his name?" The manager hesitated. "He says his name is Ryan Carson." Anna went pale. She hadn't heard that name in years. "That's impossible," she whispered. "Ryan, he's my uncle. My mom's brother. I thought he was in prison." Nicholas was already moving. "Stay here. Do asterisk, not asterisk leave this office." But Anna grabbed his arm. "Wait. If he's here, it's not random. He must know about the letter. About you, about everything." Nicholas nodded slowly. Then you might also know what's in that envelope. Neither of them touched it. It lay on the desk, heavy with secrets, the room tense with silence. Downstairs, a man from a past Anna barely remembered was demanding to be let in. But why now? Why after all these years? And what did Ryan Carson want with a billionaire? And a waitress who was only beginning to learn the truth, Nicholas. And Anna hurried down the hall, hearts pounding. The envelope stayed on the desk, unopened. Whatever was in it would have to wait, because whatever was happening downstairs felt far more urgent now. As they reached the lobby, Anna spotted him immediately. Ryan Carson stood by the entrance, older than she remembered, with deep lines carved into his face and a sharpness in his eyes that made her stomach twist. Two men in dark clothes stood behind him, their presence quiet but intimidating. Ryan stepped forward. "Anna," he said, like her name was a curse and a prayer at the same time. "I knew you'd find him." Nicholas stepped between them. "You've got about 5 seconds to explain why you're here before I call the police." Ryan didn't flinch. "Relax, rich man. I'm not here to make a scene. I'm here because you both need to hear the rest of the story." He looked directly at Anna. "You think Lena told you everything in that letter? She didn't." Anna's voice was shaky. "I haven't read it yet." Ryan pulled something from his coat pocket, a folded paper, old and yellowed. "Then let me save you some time." She wrote 2 letters. One for you, one for him. He glanced at Nicholas. "The one for you wasn't the whole truth." Nicholas narrowed his eyes. "What truth?" Ryan looked at them both, then said slowly, "Lena didn't just leave. She was forced to disappear. Because someone was trying to destroy your life, Nicholas. And she thought taking herself out of it would protect you. But she was wrong." Anna blinked. "What are you talking about?" Ryan sighed. There were people who didn't want her with Nicholas. People who stood to lose a lot if he married her. Deals, inheritance, family power. They paid me to scare her. I didn't know how far it would go. Nicholas's voice cracked. "You threatened her." Ryan looked ashamed. "I didn't know she was pregnant. She never told me. Not until years later. I tried to make it right, but she wouldn't let me near you. Said she'd raise you on her own. Said I'd done enough damage." Anna stepped back, her thoughts spinning. "So you came here too? What? Clear your conscience." Ryan shook his head. "No, I came here to tell you something else." Nicholas stepped forward. "What?" Ryan paused, then said quietly, "You're not the only one she had a child with." Silence dropped like a weight. Anna's breath caught in her throat. "What do you mean?" Ryan looked at her, then Nicholas. "There's another letter, but it's not for either of you." And just like that, everything they thought they knew shattered again. The room went still. Anna looked between Ryan and Nicholas, her voice barely a whisper. "Another child? Who?" Ryan slowly reached into his coat and handed Anna a small, sealed envelope. "This one came just before she passed. She asked me to deliver it, but I didn't have the courage, until now." Anna hesitated, then took it, her hands trembling. Nicholas stood beside her, silent, eyes locked on the letter. Everything they had just learned felt like a storm that wouldn't stop. Anna opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a short letter, written in her mother's neat handwriting. It told the truth Lena had carried alone for years. That yes, Nicholas had been her first love, and Anna was his daughter. But after they were torn apart, Lena had tried to move on. A brief relationship followed, one that ended badly. What she hadn't told anyone, not even Anna, was that the man had fathered another child. A boy. Anna's half-brother. The letter gave no name, just a clue. He's looking for you too. One day your paths will cross. Be kind. Tears welled in Anna's eyes as she folded the paper. So all this time, I wasn't alone, she said softly. Nicholas reached out and gently put a hand on her shoulder. You never were, he said. And now you never will be again. Ryan gave them a small, guilty smile. I know I can't undo what I did. But if there's any way to help now, I want to try. Anna looked at him for a long moment, unsure whether to forgive him or walk away. But deep down, she knew carrying bitterness would only make her heavier. She gave a small nod. Start by telling me everything you know. Back upstairs, Nicholas finally opened the envelope Lena had written for him. It was filled with regrets and hopes. She had loved him. She had always hoped he'd find out the truth about Anna. And she had watched from afar as he built his empire, always believing that one day their daughter might walk through his door. That day had come. Weeks later, Anna found herself standing at the edge of the rooftop garden Nicholas rarely visited. She now worked not as a waitress, but as part of the restaurant's creative team. Her ideas for community kitchens and affordable meals catching Nicholas's attention. They were building something new, not just for profit, but for purpose. The past was finally behind them. There were still questions to answer, people to find, but the weight of silence was gone. As the sun set over the city, Anna felt something she hadn't felt in years: hope. Because even the most broken stories can lead to unexpected beginnings.